We're live.
Hey!
Yay! Bona Pasqua, everyone. Now, Vin, there's been a tough week for me, as you know. I didn't get a chance to talk to you. And, we usually have our meetings to discuss what the topics are going to be. And this week was your meeting.
It was your birthday, right?
It was my birthday week, so it was kind of crazy. But given the fact that it is Good Friday, I can only assume that you're going with a nice family-friendly topic for us to discuss today on this Good Friday.
On this holy, unfortunately, the big story we need to talk about is Diddy. And what did Diddy do?
Dear God, help us.
Did he or didn't he? Hey, Al,
that's not family-friendly, I don't think, Vin.
No, it's not family-friendly. But we'll keep it. We're not going to get into the specifics of some of these freak-off situations and parties that he had. But this is for real. Now, to give you an idea of where Diddy is today in terms of how serious this is, I was speaking with R. Kelly's attorney, and we know what happened with R. Kelly.
Yes.
And this investigation is coming out of the same federal office that went after R. Kelly. And they charged R. Kelly with RICO. Okay. And what they went after Gotti with RICO charges against R. Kelly. And R. Kelly, in the world compared to Diddy in terms of money, structure, organization, it's they're worlds apart. So if they were going after R. Kelly for RICO, I asked him, I said, from 0 to 10, how serious is this? How worried should Diddy be? And he said 12. He said, this is much more serious and appears from what's been leaked and what people have talked about in the civil cases as well, a much more serious and stronger case involving Diddy versus R. Kelly, which kind of took me back a little bit. I thought he was going to say, no, because he's like a defense attorney's defense attorney, Steve Greenberg. But no, he was like, this is not going to be easy.
Well, this is, first of all, can I just say this, though, about the fact that today is Good Friday. All right. And that on April 14th in 1865, Lincoln was assassinated on Good Friday. You aware of that?
And you're going after me for the subject matter. And you're
I'm bringing this up because back in 1865, Easter was on a Sunday that year, Vin, just like it is this year.
Yes.
Well, that's why I figured that there was.
How was the play?
Exactly. So now, Good Friday, we have the Lincoln tragedy. Okay, even though it was April 14th, but it was still Good Friday. And now we see the Diddy tragedy.
Yeah.
I mean, because this is talking about a situation now that, I've never met P. Diddy. I mean, I have met some members of Bad Boy Records. I've met Little Kim a number of times and a couple of the other ones, but never met him.
Is that Little Kim or Lil
Kim?
Lil
Kim. Okay. But never had a chance to meet him. But I got to tell you, I mean, the man did a lot, for the East Coast rap movement, and that whole situation, East Coast, West Coast is now coming back into swing. And, you got Suge Knight sitting in prison, out West, and apparently involved in this whole thing and that like cheering them on as they bring him down. And then you're seeing things like, we're finally going to know who took out Tupac. But I don't see that any of that's happening. I mean, I just think that Diddy is caught up in a situation with regards to allegations that are serious, that started out civil and have spilled into criminal.
Speaking of West Coast, Dr. Dre and Snoop and 50 Cent were on the Kimmel Show last night.
Oh, did they talk about it?
No. It was very light, but it was a lot of fun.
Wait. Jimmy Kimmel wants to get all like, serious when it comes to matters and takes himself as and this story breaks with these types of allegations. In that world, he has those guests and they don't deal with it.
It was all about Dr. Dre getting a star on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood.
Well, now see, that was more
How
important.
long is his show? How long is his show, Kimmel? I've never watched it.
60
minutes. Okay. All right. So what they do the other 55 minutes? Like, come on.
They brought them out one at a time, and he just riffed with them, and they they joked about the chronic and getting high and stuff like that.
Well, this is like a huge story.
It's a light show, though. It's not.
No, it isn't a light show. He has tried to make himself into like a serious commentator.
In the monologue.
I don't know if you go that.
He's jumped into that public square. Yes, he has.
I did miss
many times.
I did miss the monologue, so he may have addressed something there.
Yeah, but you have the guests. Like, this is a conversation. I get it. Like, you're not talking about this. How are you not talking about this? This impacts. You're talking. Like, this guy is one of the moguls. I don't, not necessarily a founding father, but like, who's bigger than Diddy in that world? Like Jay-Z, maybe? Who else?
Yeah,
like,
I think
who else?
Jay-Z is quite big, and I mean, obviously,
this is a billionaire who's been doing this for decades.
Well, Dr. Dre,
look, let me tell you something. Diddy did a tremendous job taking a very, very difficult area in rap and putting it into basically a corporation.
Yeah.
He incorporated rap on the East Coast, which I don't think anyone thought could be done. Because the rap on the East Coast was always a little bit, it was very territorial. So you had your people in, you had the Bronx, you had the Jersey, you had the Newark, that kind of stuff. Wait,
I need a timeout. I'll use my first timeout just to acknowledge Rebecca.
Hey,
hello,
Rebecca.
Vinnie, sexy man. Hello, Rebecca.
Hey, do you guys?
Hello, Rebecca. I hope you get your sight back as an Easter miracle. Okay.
As Jersey boys, do you guys remember the news story before Puff became a household name of a rap promoter someplace in New York City who oversold a show, and there was a stampede, and I believe some people died. It was a Puff show. And
that was his first controversy when he was still in college.
Yeah, he wasn't even like the big deal yet,
Yeah, I mean the first case I covered on Court TV, the first case, like I got there and they said, Vinnie, okay, this is your first assignment. Go downtown in Manhattan. You're covering the Diddy trial.
Oh, you must have been so excited. You must have been popping and locking all day in court.
Well, that trial turned into one thing because the story is there's three people in a car and there's an illegal weapon. And the limo driver, Diddy, and his date/girlfriend at the time. So Diddy said it was the weapon belonged to the driver. The driver said it belonged to Diddy. So to break the tie, everyone was waiting for the third person in that vehicle to come and testify. And that person never showed up. I believe prosecutors were afraid of what she would say. And I think the defense was also afraid that she might say the truth under oath. And that was J-Lo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, everyone forgets J-Lo and Diddy were an item.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Keep it real in the field.
Who's a bigger star right now? Diddy or J-Lo?
Well, now after this news story hit, Diddy.
Well, even before the news story.
Well, you know what? J-Lo's kind of lost a little luster. She started canceling concerts. So she's kind of fallen out of the well, I'm sorry, Vin. I know you don't, keep up on it. The air supply is coming to
listen, I got tickets this summer.
I'll get you tickets in the front row.
I've got tickets this summer. Me and the wife, we bought them ahead of time. They're going to be performing in town. We have a beautiful amphitheater right here in my town. And we've got REO, Speedwagon, Train, and here's the opening act. And I think the opening act is going to steal the show. Yacht Rock Review.
Oh, damn.
That's the trifecta, baby.
Don't
call me the next day.
That's a tri-infecta. I mean, that's just horrendous. That's just 3 acts that
all right,
would
Kevin's
force me to
promoting
find a
something
vein.
here. I'm trying to figure
Open
out
up the vein. Oh my
what is
God!
Kevin
Oh,
promoting
wait a
on
minute.
our
But
website
if you've
here.
been following the news on J-Lo, she had to cancel a number of her concerts because the tickets aren't selling.
Well, also it's an unfair comparison because Diddy is he's a star, but he's also a mogul.
Yeah,
I didn't say mogul. I didn't say who has more money. I didn't say who has. I said who's a bigger celebrity. Where is there going to be more wow if they walk into the room?
It depends if she's walking in backwards or not.
No,
every photo.
But be honest for a minute. Who's going to get more wow? Where there's going to be more buzz? And
look, I mean, you know what? Diddy is right now in a very bad position with regards to the fact that he's basically become a pariah based on these accusations. I mean, he did not, his liquor situation, his company is going down, in flames. All of his employees are leaving; they're fleeing the place. So it's really not a fair time to say anything about him compared to anyone because no one's surviving this.
Okay, 1 week ago, who was a bigger celebrity? Who would get more wow?
Well, let's go 30 days ago. 30 days ago, I think you were talking that Diddy. Well, no, Diddy at that point had started to. They had that fight with his liquor distributor.
It's J-Lo. J-Lo's a bigger star. I'm sorry. She's a bigger star, bigger celebrity. There's more wow factor. Diddy, more money, more problems, right?
It's all to the Benjamins.
Hey, BB True. Shug is laughing.
Shug is laughing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shug is probably the happiest person in the world right now.
Last night he wasn't laughing.
I'm sorry?
I spoke of Shug last night when we were watching Dre on TV, how pissed off he must be,
Okay, just to give you an update. Please, folks, hit the like button. It's very helpful. It's very helpful to hit that like button. But we're over 1,000. We're over 1,000 live viewers right now. So very nice on this holiday day because I was playing pickleball this morning. Very light crowd at the pickleball courts this morning.
Well, that's because I told you it's that whole Lincoln thing. Good Friday, assassinated on Good Friday. You don't go out on Good Friday. You could be knocked out.
Wilhelm's all over you. I love Vinnie, but he brings on some straight goofs.
Well, that's me too. It's plural.
Yeah, that's plural.
J-Lo, didn't she do that?
I'm sorry there, Herr Wilhelm.
Wilhelm should be on your side, right? Because you're both
Obergruppenführer Wilhelm. Please. Suge Knight done warned him. Yep, that's right. You're right. Suge did.
Okay, all right. Let's take a look here.
Maybe we're gonna find out who took out Notorious B.I.G.
Now, Diva Divine, thank you so much for watching, Diva. And you can share this. By the way, the R. Kelly case was about forced labor, the Mann Act, and bribery. Yes, it was all that, but it was also RICO, and it was also the same type of allegations here. Well, there's no allegations yet against Diddy. We have to understand there's a civil lawsuit. There were several, but there's one that's outstanding from Rodney Jones, Lil Rod. That one has some very specific allegations that are similar to the nature of this criminal investigation. But everyone I'm talking to, and Al's a great attorney as well, and I think he'd agree that to be able to get the judge to sign off on these simultaneous raids in 2 different jurisdictions of these homes and go in there and seize everything that they were seizing and tear the place apart. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but they tore this place apart. Yeah. And I'm sorry there, Jonesy, we're missing you, but that's okay. We'll get you back in a second. This is for real. This is not like a make-believe thing. This is based upon an affidavit, but the affidavit has to be based on like real allegations, real evidence from witnesses. And I think what they're really trying to obtain and may have obtained based upon the allegations in the civil case is that a lot of this stuff may very well have been recorded.
Well, after that show of force, they better get some serious indictments. I mean, they rolled up with armor. I'm told. Well, I saw on the news that they say that's how Homeland Security rolls. When they come in heavy and hard. But it just seemed like, a guy at his level, he's not going to come out blazing.
Well, you're probably right, but you know what? The thing is this: the fact they do things to prove a point, and Vinny is 100% correct on this. When you get that kind of simultaneous, warrants to go in the way they did, and stop you at the airport and grab your electronics and this, that, the other thing, they're not looking for a couple of unpaid parking tickets. And they've got some pretty good evidence that went before this judge. And I mean, we'll never, until they unseal that, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what was the basis. But I mean, the attack that was put on the household, and I mean, I say attack in the sense that they go in, they've got a mission, they are armed to the teeth, okay, and they're expecting that there could be trouble. And that kind of a coordinated attack, you don't do that for anything except for the most serious of charges. And I agree that, you're looking at panic factor 12 at this situation if you're Diddy, because there's no good that comes from this.
And I look at it this way too, like the feds knew that this was going to be a huge story and a big deal, right? They know that. So if there's just this raid and then there's nothing that happens afterwards, that's a bad look on that office. And U.S. attorneys are very political animals. And if they go and tear up a billionaire's home and come back empty-handed, two things are going to happen. One, they look really bad. Diddy is going to make them look bad, and his supporters, for tearing up his home and doing all this stuff, and it resulted in nothing. And then number three, in the world we live in now, the post-Epstein world, everyone in the world is going to believe that they found things that they grabbed that they just wanted to make disappear because they're protecting other billionaires, right? I mean, that's where this would go. That's where this story would go. That's why I believe that there will be follow-up and there will be charges, whatever they are. I don't think they do this without already having enough for some level of charges. Now they're just looking for extra proof of those charges and things to corroborate information that they already have. Because, the whole Epstein situation from the beginning was completely botched. That story will never end, and it will never end because of the way he was treated and what happened to him, and the belief that billionaire, had the goods on others, and part of the point was to get his stuff and then just deep six it. And this office does not want to be any part of that. So I think that's the lesson for prosecutors from Epstein. The other potential lesson is from billionaires, like your behavior. Did you know that when Usher was 13 years old, he lived for a year with Diddy?
No,
that doesn't surprise me. I mean, you take a look at that, what Diddy was doing even with Justin Bieber. I mean, he was cultivating these young rappers that he saw talent in.
He lived with them.
What? But what's the difference between that and families that have football players living in their house that are playing in high schools? I mean, that happens. I don't see that.
Is that how your alma mater wins all those games, Al? Do you have high school football players in your basement somewhere?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that, Vin. Okay, but I will say this for those of you, and there was a lot of people that have made nice comments on Happy Easter and Happy Easter to everyone. But I just want to say one thing, Vin. Don Bosco, Saint John Bosco, okay, is the only saint in the Catholic religion to be canonized on an Easter Sunday.
There you go. It all full circle. Darcy, thank you so much, Darcy. Again, a lot of people, and this is where the internet's going, they're saying Jay-Z is going to be the next to go down.
Objection on that.
I have a beef. I have a personal beef with Jay-Z, but that's another story.
But you have to say that about Jay-Z. Like, why? Just because he's also a rich mogul in the rap world?
No, I think that's why Well, people don't trust these celebrities anymore. Like with all this money, all this power, and all these things going on. By the way, this was J-Lo when she was with Diddy. At that point, Diddy was more of a celebrity. J-Lo was on the way up. But that trial really, I felt, was a tipping point because nobody cared about Diddy walking in and out of the courtroom. All they wanted to do was see J-Lo walk in and out of the courtroom.
I mean, she's gorgeous. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Didn't J-Lo do that TV show that you and I were into? The Blue
Steel? Was it Blue Steel?
Oh, yeah, with
Ray Liotta.
The guy from the Polaroid commercials. What's
Ray Liotta?
Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
Lundy, thank you. And this is true. When Homeland Security comes knocking, it's a problem. So I think with the Homeland Security, though, didn't they? And the reason on these raids you see the Homeland Security jackets now is that Homeland Security's kind of been reorganized, right?
Yeah.
So they've been doing this for some time because a friend of mine was on Homeland Security.
I thought a friend of yours got raided.
I was waiting for that one. The Asbury Park raid that came down.
This tour manager of Southside Johnny by night was a Homeland Security agent, and he was the one who busted Dave Herman.
Southside Johnny by night.
Dave Herman, the famous New York rock and roll DJ, was busted for meeting a 5 or 6-year-old at the airport with a little doll that he brought for her, and it was a setup. And this guy loved Dave Herman and had to move in on him, but it was nothing like that. They didn't bring tanks into the airport.
Yeah, we're in a different world right now.
Can I ask you guys this? If you get a warrant for something like this, presumably you're looking for computer and digital information.
Oh,
why tear the couch apart?
I'll show you why in 1 second. Hold on.
Oh, all right. Now we're going to see Vinny's.
Because of these. And I don't know if you could see it. Can you see it?
No. What is that?
This is what we call a thumb drive. So for those of you into the whole computer thing, this little thumb drive holds 128 gigabytes. I mean, hours of video could be on a little thing like this. So when you get a warrant to search for digital evidence, right, based upon your reasonable probable cause, this could be hidden anywhere. So you got to go through the couch. You can go anywhere. I could hide these anywhere. I could hide it in my blouse.
Right.
By the way, what's the difference between a shirt and a blouse?
The buttons are on the opposite side.
About $75.
When I was hanging at the New Wave Club, sometimes we would wear blouses and stuff like that because it would make us look flashy like rock and roll stars. And back then I learned the buttons for a lady's blouse is on the opposite side.
When you said a lady, like, men? Wait. You said a lady's blouse. There's men blouses?
Well, no, but we used to wear ladies' shirts because they were more flamboyant. Like we were looking for a certain look, like New Wave.
What was that look? What was the look?
New Wave. It's like flashy, romantics, Adam and the Ants, pirates.
Okay.
Pirates, yeah. The puffy shirt. That's good. We need more puffy shirts.
There's nothing wrong with the puffy shirt.
No, yes, that's true. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Jonesy, and I'm sure your therapist is very impressed with that one.
Okay.
Why is it that all we see is comments about you and your alleged good-lookedness? Okay,
and his blue eyes.
Can I just tell you something? My beef with Jay-Z. Okay, because I'm going to bring this up now. I feel the need to unburden myself. So it was the concert for New York, okay, that happened in November, right after 9/11. Okay, and it was a concert at Madison Square Garden. There were dozens and dozens of rock performers that were there, that were performing, comedians that were performing. There were movies, documentaries that were made. It was an incredible night. And I had tickets for the event, and I had backstage passes for the event, and I was backstage. And there I was talking to this young trio of African-American women called Destiny's Child.
Right.
Okay. and I was having a rap with a certain member of Destiny's Child. Oh wait, I'm sorry. What's wrong?
I just don't want to talk over you because it's really hard for Doug to watch when we talk over each other.
Okay,
so
I'm sorry.
Maybe what we'll do is we'll raise our hands. Does that make?
Yeah, I'm going to be raising my hand, but it's going to be a middle finger that's going to be raised up on that one.
Doug has a point. Doug, I'm going to try to watch myself because I think I've been doing it more than the other guy. So my fault, Doug. Go ahead.
So I'm having this.
Oh, okay. Chrissy has. I'm sorry.
All right.
But Chrissy, the Jimmy Kimmel episode was taped last week. Okay, so now I forgive Jimmy then for not talking about it.
Thank you, Jimmy. I won't have to call you and speak to you later. He's forgiven you.
So who's up right now? Is it Al?
So yeah. So now I'm there speaking with this young woman. Her name is Beyonce. Okay, we have a nice rap going. We're having a very, very nice conversation. They looked a little out of place at this event, because I mean, David Bowie was there, Paul McCartney was there, Elton John was there, Billy Joel was there, I was there. So, they felt a little out of place, and they were by themselves. So I went over and started a rap with them. And then Jay-Z, who also was out of place, okay, yes. H to the Izzo, E to the Izzy.
Where was it again?
Shows up.
At where?
This was at the Concert for New York, right after 9/11 in November of 9.
Where was the venue?
It was Madison Square
Garden.
MSG. Okay.
It was the one where all of the firemen were so drunk that you could hear them talking throughout the acoustic performances of David Bowie.
Wow!
His opening song was just
incredible. Yeah.
I mean, he was just incredible. And then Jay-Z comes over and muscles into my conversation with Beyonce. I could have been Mr. Beyonce. Okay? Beyonce Wunsch could have been her. All right? I would have been celebrating her new album coming out with my wife, Beyonce.
Beyonce Wunsch.
Beyonce Wunsch.
That's the deal breaker right there.
And what happened? Jay-Z muscled in on my conversation, so I got a beef with him. I'm sorry. I'm bringing it out. It's bothered me for a while, and I just feel the need to unburden myself. Thank you.
Prettiest eyes on TV.
Well, I said that about myself often, but
Boston.
Oh,
now is that all of Boston that says that about Vinnie? You do have a remarkable level of comments about your eyes. I go through the comments after the show sometime, and it's like constant.
Oh, look at this. Becca forgot about J-Lo. Yeah, J-Lo was with Diddy. And
forgot about Trey.
Yeah. So as we look at where we are with Diddy and this case, in terms of timing and how close you would expect something to happen in all of this, what's your best guess? Like if they're gonna, indict him and it's going to be something along the lines of RICO and other things. Do you think they're waiting to flip more people because they arrested the alleged mule?
Yes.
This
right.
is a
they
guy
arrested the alleged mule, the former basketball player, that they got him all jammed up. Right now, see, this is the best time for them because that lull before the storm is the most gratifying for law enforcement and the most just horrendous for the defendant. Okay. I mean, having what is that in reference? Jay-Z is involved in a paternity lawsuit involved with a minor. I didn't know.
Oh, that's problematic.
Do we have any confirmation of that?
No.
Well, it serves Beyonce right.
I haven't heard anything like that.
But Beyonce Wunsch, remember that. But it's this period of time that they sit there and now they have the power to start flipping, including Diddy. I mean, and he could be a very, very key person to turn on a lot of other people.
To get who?
Let me ask you this. If he were to do that, what does that do to his stature and his image in that world? If he were to flip on people, and testify against people. What does that do in that world? That's kind of frowned upon, isn't it?
Of course, it's frowned upon in any world, but I mean, nonetheless, it's called survival of the fittest,
Sammy the Bull,
or the quickest. Survival of the quickest. You get to the prosecutor first. You get that to the first, you get the best deals. You see that all the time in the TV shows. You got to us first, you get the best deal. So, I mean, it's a scenario now that is the most nerve-wracking for anyone who's a defendant. And he's sitting in his lawyer's office going, what's going to come down? Now, that's the other interesting thing is whether or not.
One question, Danielle, I think with a great comment here. Thank you, Danielle. Is this an ironic name, Bad Boy Entertainment, or is it the opposite of ironic?
Well, no, but I mean, it was Bad Boy Entertainment, but that goes back years ago when he started that company. Okay, and I mean, it's the whole East Coast versus West Coast. And let me ask that question: what's your preference? I mean, yeah, Vin. I mean, the East Coast of easy listening or the West Coast of easy listening music. What's your preference?
No. Listen. Back in the day, I was on the West Coast. I was DJing on the West Coast during college. I went to Leland Stanford Junior University. Maybe you heard of it. Anyway, have you heard of it?
I've heard of it.
That's the place in Connecticut, right?
No. This is on the West Coast in a town called Palo Alto.
I dropped out of every college in the state of New Jersey. Fairleigh Dickinson, William Patterson, Fairleigh Dickinson twice.
Wow.
So,
how many credits do you have right now?
Well, that Fairleigh Dickinson makes sense. What was that? Your cum, F, D, and U.
Somewhere around 3, a little below 3 years, but I never needed it in my chosen field.
So here's the question: would you consider Humpty East Coast or West Coast?
What? Digital Underground?
Humpty Dance?
Yeah,
Digital Underground is West Coast.
Okay. Now, do you want to hear the rest of the story on Digital Underground?
Now, the rest of the story.
Humpty. Okay, when Humpty was from New York, he moved to Oakland. When he was in Oakland, I was on the radio in the Bay Area. He came down to my show.
Oh, wow.
He was giving me his demo tapes. He was known at the time as DJ Spice.
Wow.
So he was actually an East Coaster who moved to the West Coast, real smart, very talented. And then after I graduated, I came back to the East Coast. He moved down to LA. Next thing I know, I turn around and there's this guy with this huge nose on MTV. And I'm like, I know that guy. Yeah. So
the Humpty Dance was one of the coolest hip hop songs of all time.
Yes. What's a Doug? Don't be a Doug. What's a Doug? Is that a saying?
Is that like a Karen?
Is that, I don't know what a Doug is.
I don't know.
Like, speaking of Doug, I have never not, while I'm watching television, as I'm flicking, I still flick, landed on the King of Queens and not stopped.
Yeah, I enjoy the King of Queens.
I cannot, same thing if I'm on my phone and there's a King of Queens clip and then they start following one after the other. I can't stop.
I took Jonesey to the Lemon Ice King of Corona, which features prominently in the opening credits of,
and also in the Simon and Garfunkel song.
I also found out something I didn't know. Do you remember the show Cheers?
Of course.
Okay. The waitress. Who's the waitress in Cheers?
Rhea Perlman.
Do you know who played her pregnant daughter?
J-Lo.
No.
I figured I'd guess. I figured it was a nice segue.
Leah Remini.
She's in the
Barbie. The King of Queens.
Oh.
Doug's wife.
Was her really? I didn't remember.
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember that.
She plays a pregnant teenager. Amazing.
I'm bringing stuff about Lincoln. You're talking about Leah Remini in whatchamacallit, Cheers.
May I speak of West Coast?
And yet they're commenting about your eyes.
All right. Can you tell us the story of Buford Pusser, please?
Mm-hmm.
Buford Pusser was walking tall, baby. He carried a big stick. It was one of the most powerful movies I saw as a child, and I'm not talking about the Rocks version, the original one.
Yes. Yep. And not the follow up, not the sequel.
And the real Buford Pusser. When I did a talk show, some people claimed to be from his jurisdiction. and they claimed that maybe he was not like really the hero that everyone claimed he was.
Well, that always
really?
happens. That always happens.
Are you going to listen to Barbara, Al, and just
Yeah, Vin, I got to tell you something. Your choice of putting up like these little things is really, really. Can we speak to the producer?
Feedback.
We have to have a producer meeting after this.
Now.
There's going to be a producer meeting after this.
Yeah, except he is the producer.
Oh,
it's going to be a
producer. I'm going to file my protest with the FCC. Okay, Diddy is bigger. All right, see, I agree with that. Than J-Lo. All right, but wait, let's now you threw me off here. So Buford Pusser, okay.
Even the guys agree.
Looking hot, Vinny.
Excellent.
Well, you know why Jimmy's writing, because Jimmy is getting ready for the big trial that we're covering in Norfolk County, Massachusetts, in the Dedham County Courthouse. Karen Reed, accused cop killer, and what a case! But
did you say
before
Karen?
we get into that courthouse, Al, is where they had the Sacco and Vanzetti trial.
Oh, right.
Wait a minute. Wait, why do we never get comments written up by Jennifer Sube, who puts, I always tell you on here what a cutie you are. Why is that not up, Vin? Why am I discriminated against? Okay.
I just randomly.
Thank you.
Is there anyone bigger than Taylor Swift right now?
No, unfortunately.
You don't like Taylor?
No.
I did like that song "Shake It Off."
Yeah.
Well, haters gonna hate, and I'm the hater.
Wait,
Chrissy says J-Lo got canceled on TikTok.
Chrissy's thrown up a lot of stuff here that we have to have verified. Can we have our producers verify it, please?
Puff created Jenny from the block.
That's exactly right, and she is correct on that. She is right. You're absolutely correct about it. Look, Puff created Biggie. Like he took Biggie from the streets and made him into the guy that he was.
Kim Kardashian, we are way off on a tangent now, deleted Diddy 24 hours before the raid. Who does she know? If that happened,
perhaps it was from the allegations, though.
It could have been from the allegations. I mean, and look, at that point in time, he was already losing a lot of business, and his company was failing. So I mean, that might have been it, But it was J-Lo will always be relevant, and is by far more famous than Diddy. Look, I've seen J-Lo in concert. I've never seen Diddy in concert, and I can say that J-Lo put on a great show.
Mm-hmm. May I speak of East Coast, West Coast?
Yes, we didn't get that answer yet. So, but I wanted to say this. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm just talking to you for 1 second. You mentioned about that. The Humpty Hump. You came from the East Coast and moved out to the West Coast. Ice-T, same thing. He's from Newark.
Yes, Ice-T. By the way, are you familiar with this stuff called house music?
Yes, of course.
That was.
I know a guy who owned a record label that released house music. His name was Vinnie Politan.
Yes. He has really nice eyes.
Yeah,
it's called Metropolitan Records.
Right, but house music, which was sort of born in Chicago and named after a nightclub in Chicago. However, those DJs, most of them were from New York.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's like the East Coast is exporting everything. So I don't know how you could say the West Coast is better than the East Coast.
So here's my take on East Coast, West Coast. I see that as a Dr. Dre, Suge Knight versus Puff thing. I don't see that as the entire rap world because, to me, East Coast, Run DMC, they have nothing to do with that kind of stuff. In fact, they rap about positive things instead of shooting things up. So I see that whole East Coast, West Coast as a manufactured thing based on Suge Knight and his questionable ties versus Puff in New York City more than it is a hip hop thing.
Well, but they did make it a hip hop thing, though. I mean, the MTV Awards and the Music Awards, when they came up there and they issued challenges against about Puff Daddy and the whole Bad Boy Records, and you had Suge Knight and his gangsters
Well,
up
again,
there.
Puff versus Suge.
Right, but I mean, but they did make it an issue. But there was always an East Coast, West Coast thing. Even
Back in the day, it was a borough thing. I mean, if you were from the South Bronx or if you were from Queens, like that was a thing. It was like New York City. For those who don't know, the 5 boroughs of New York City, just like in the doo-wop days, there were rap groups from one community versus the rap group from the other community, and everybody claimed to be the man.
Yes. Dion and the Politan over there.
Yeah. So Danielle is saying that folks are mad at J-Lo because of her recent Bronx video, and I have not seen that yet. But I guess
the old Bronx cheer.
Bronx,
yeah. Where does that Bronx cheer come from? By the way, opening day for the Mets. By the way,
yes,
that's
we're
right.
all Mets fans here, so Mets. I don't know what teams y'all cheer for, but we are all Mets fans.
In fact, it starts upon the conclusion of this broadcast.
That's correct.
Jay says Diddy's bigger.
Okay, yay, Jay. But that on the East Coast, West Coast, that has always been an issue, though. Okay, even with regards to rock, and even with regards to who the heck is the guy in the middle?
Who's the guy? Who's that guy in the middle? Like, you've got world famous radio man Jonesey, Vinnie from Court TV, and who's this guy in the middle? You don't recognize him from this snack pack pudding commercial?
It's because he's wearing his hoodie.
That's
he's
right.
Not wearing his usual.
Well, I figured I'd go with the hoodie look because I do represent a number of.
Do we have a moment of silence? J-Lo's officially over.
Well, apparently so am I, as the guy in the middle.
Well, I could put Jonesy in the middle if that's a problem.
Hey, Al,
you know what? I like being in the middle. I have no problem with these negative comments. Okay, because I'm secure enough in my masculinity, secure enough in my intelligence to understand that these people are ignorant. Okay, simple.
Don't go after the viewers.
I'm not. I'm only going after Elaine. All right. The rest of the people, I love you.
Okay? Hey, Al,
Elaine,
be happy that
viewers earn their love and earn their trust. You don't attack.
Be happy that they're picking on you, Al. They ignore me entirely.
So
that's not true.
Let's talk about Cuba Gooding Jr. because in the civil lawsuit against Diddy that many people believe is sort of the framework and the triggering event of this federal investigation, Cuba Gooding Jr. has now been named as a co-defendant in that civil suit. Are you shocked? I'm not necessarily shocked because of that. He had other legal troubles. There was a video of him in a bar and had a whole trial in New York about that thing. So
that's right.
I'm not shocked, but I did not realize, because unlike his father, who was a musician, right? Cuba Gooding, Happiness is Just Around the Bend. You remember that song?
No,
I can't say that I did.
I stumped Jonesy on a song. Yeah. So Cuba Gooding Sr. had a great song, Happiness is Just Around the Bend. But anyway, what? I saw him. He opened for Dionne Warwick.
Oh, shoot me now.
I saw Dionne Warwick.
I've seen that he opened for Dionne Warwick.
I'm making that up, but I did see Dionne Warwick. That's my first concert.
I know that. I know that. You proudly wear that T-shirt every day. It's really nice to see that.
But you know who opened for Dionne Warwick was probably someone Robert Klein.
Yes, I do. I know Robert very well.
May I share my?
I worked with Robert. I did a show in Atlantic City with Robert.
All right, Jonesy has a story.
Okay, so Dionne Warwick was playing at a large church at the Jersey Shore in a Methodist community, and all the people, the ushers and everything, were like members of the church. So they were all like little old guys. So it's a tent community, Ocean Grove, and we're like sneaking through the tent areas between houses. We peek around the corner to see when the ushers look away. And when the ushers looked away, we all went running into the amphitheater and ran in. They came chasing after us, and we immediately sat down and looked innocent. So we actually bum rushed. I think I'm probably the only person ever who bum rushed a Dionne Warwick show.
Now I know why people OD on heroin. I mean, you've got to be kidding me at this story. You bum rushed a Dionne Warwick concert. I bum rushed the Clash okay, at Bonds. All right, now that's a concert that you got a bum rush. You don't go into the who was going to stop you? Some lady with a walker?
That's the irony of it. That's why it was cool. That's why it was fun.
It was cool. Yeah. Anyone can bum rush like, you know. By the way, hit the like button if you're on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, share the video. We've got a lot of viewers on both today. We have a little more balance than usual. Facebook showing up today in a big way. Let's see. They ran everything good on rock and roll except Carter, a Lil Wayne, the best, and his music. Even took on abortion and more. Yeah, I get you. I get you. Great conversation today. J-Lo bigger. So Jay-Z is he the top of hip hop?
I think currently, yes.
Okay. Who else is up there
right now too? I mean,
who?
Well, Beyonce's new album is country.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You know, Beyonce's new album is country, which is very, see, the thing is this, what's interesting is on this country thing, because, my old band is now a country band. Okay. And that metamorphosis is very common, especially from punk rock to country, because the chord structure is very similar so it melds in perfectly. But
they're totally different worlds. And basically that means your old band are now posers.
Look at this.
They're
Sugar Hill.
They're doing country.
I grew up with the Sugar Hill gang. They're from Englewood, New
Sugar
Jersey.
Hill.
The hip to hop, the hippie to the hippie to the hip hop. You don't stop, rock it to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Skilly bebop doo bop shooby doo. Guess what, America? We love you because you rock and roll with so much soul. Would you rock with it under the? So you'll go through it from there. But Master G and all those guys were from Englewood, New Jersey. I used to watch them do that in the basement of their mother's home.
And what were you doing in their mother's home?
I was there at a party. The punk rockers got along with the rappers.
So who invited you to the party?
Susan Reduced.
Was it Cowboy because he's running the show?
Cowboy, right?
No,
the punk rock movement
that had not come out yet. Okay, all right. It was far from that thing. They only had the one song, and it wasn't what you're called. What's that, Geronimo or whatever the heck that song?
They had two songs. They had two big.
Well, no, at the time I saw them, they only had the one song. They would change the words around, but it was the same backbeat.
I think we have to acknowledge Perry Farrell's 65th birthday.
Can't go wrong with Perry Farrell. Very, very nice on that one. Thank you for
Al. The punk hip hop thing. You make a good point, because basically it was like you could just get a couple of turntables and a microphone, and you can do rap.
How many turntables and a microphone? Was it 2 turntables and a mic? 2
turntables and a microphone. And in the punk world, you just picked up a guitar, and you didn't necessarily know how to play very well. So I saw them move those two movements as parallel to one anher. And famously, Ben Batu and Johnny Lydon did like an excellent song, "Time Zone," as World Destruction.
Yep, that's a great song.
Let me ask you this question, and Willie has an interesting point here. Why are people being considerate when it comes to Diddy? Do you think people...
Because you're innocent until proven guilty, and he hasn't even been...
Not everybody gets that. Not everybody gets the innocent until proven guilty.
Well, he sure as hell doesn't, they sure as hell made him look guilty with their show of force. I mean, I think a lot of people probably right now think he's absolutely guilty because they brought in the tanks and stuff.
Okay, how do you think this will play in Hollywood? Right now, we're sort of in that in-between period. If there's an indictment, right? If there's an indictment, how does this play in Hollywood, in hip-hop, in celebrity culture? Will people speak about it publicly? Will they avoid it? Will they take sides?
He's dead. He's gone. He's finished. I mean, his career's over. I mean, it's not, R. Kelly's going to be selling more records. Okay, that ought to tell you. I mean,
okay. So here's something that's interesting that I picked up on in the allegations that were made. Weinstein's big thing was he makes your career, he gets you the Oscar. Allegation in the Lil Rod suit, Rodney Jones, was that Diddy was promising Grammys. So you go along, so you get your Grammy, you get your legitimacy, and your career is set. So what's interesting about the Diddy case at this point, I see little bits of a lot of cases that we've covered through the years. And again, he hasn't been charged with anything. But based upon the allegations in the civil suits and the federal raid, to me, he's got the money, the power, and the level of friends and connections of a Epstein.
That is nothing new in show business.
Right. But he's big and influential in the music world, like Weinstein was in the movie world. And now these allegations involving children gives me a slice of Michael Jackson in all of this as well. And then finally, when it comes to how he's being investigated by the feds, the actual case against him may look a lot like the R. Kelly case.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can see that there are similarities, and I can see that does seem to be the theme that the prosecution will be going, the feds are going to be going on with regards to same. But it's disturbing to me that first of all, it's taken this long for any of this stuff to come out. I mean, let's remember that these civil we're 2024, and none of this has come out before that. So you sit there and you say to yourself, well, why did these people keep their mouths shut? What was going on? How good was it for them? And then all of a sudden, when things turn bad, then all of a sudden now they're interested in going after this guy. That always has bothered me. It's always bothered me that, now they're the heroes because they're bringing this out, but they kept their mouth shut for 24 years. Doesn't make sense to me. And
sounds like, well, but we saw that pattern in other cases, and we've heard.
Right, and I know, I agree with you.
And we've heard experts talk about how victims or accusers deal with all this. But the other factor in all of this is the celebrity entertainment. And if you are someone trying to make it in a business, like it's the same as the corporate world, with people who for years were being harassed in the corporate world, were afraid because they wanted to progress in their career and they didn't want to end their career. And that's part of the whole thing. Here's a big issue, though, I think Donovan brings up with his Buffalo logo, Colorado, University of Colorado. Puffy is a mouth breather in all of his photos.
How can you be a mouth breather in a still photo?
Well, maybe his mouth is always open. Like, are you a mouth breather?
I don't know.
Me? No.
Yeah, I guess I am. I rarely take. I do passive breathing, as they call it.
You know what I do?
Take deep breaths.
Yeah, what I do on the pickleball court before each point. And this is important because I do it for concentration. I do it now that I'm playing senior baseball as well. Is I breathe in through the nose, hold that breath, and then exhale slowly out of the mouth. And then once you get in that state, your concentration and your relaxation are at its peak for that moment. It helps me focus on that pickleball point and make sure I get my dinks in. And it helps me relax when I'm up at the plate.
So you do it before you serve, or before
whoever's serving serves.
So you do.
I can tell you this, as a former basketball coach, when I saw the opposition breathing through their mouth, I knew they were done. And that's when you attack even more. And that's why you always do the press, and you do a full court press on them and everything else. And then you watch when they're starting to breathe through their mouth, they're finished. So that's why your team always has to be very well conditioned. And that's its true sign of weakness.
Hey, Vinny, what's a dink?
A dink. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. We don't want to be talking about that because, that might be taken as a racial comment.
A dink?
A dink?
No, it's not. What's a dink? Is a shot in a pickleball match. Stop. He's getting us in trouble already.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to stop the trouble.
No, a dink is so there's a line on a pickleball court. They call it the kitchen line. So when you're up at the kitchen and all four players, like two on each side, are up at the kitchen staring each other down, you are dinking back and forth where you're hitting the ball just hard enough to get over the net, but not so hard that the other side can slam it at you.
Right.
So you're dinking back and forth, trying to force the other side to make a mistake and leave that ball high in the air, and then you can hit down on it and go for the kill shot.
Is that called
that is dinking.
Well, it's the same in tennis,
Wait,
it's
a little different. It's a little different.
Question was asked as to what I'm drinking. Can I just say this, because I've seen questions as to what I'm drinking. I drink tea. Okay, when we're on, it's been a long week.
He drinks. He has lemon with his tea.
It's very refined.
Lemon.
I do have lemon with my tea and a little honey.
Tanya brings up a great point. Do you remember when J-Lo was a dancer on In Living Color?
Absolutely. Do I remember that? Of course I do.
The Fly Girl, right? They call them Fly Girls?
Yes, that's correct. That is absolutely correct. And next, wait, you know what? I'll do a little thing here. I'll tell you my Jim Carrey story next week.
That's the big teaser. Everyone's going to tune in next week to hear
my Jim Carrey story. For those of you scoring at home. That's
pretty funny.
But so good. You ever see J-Lo in concert?
No.
And now, you know what? Wait. So we didn't finish this East Coast, West Coast. So now you are East Coast, Vin. Is that what you're saying? East Coast is the better music scene than the West Coast?
Well, to me, the West Coast was Egyptian Lover. It was that rap, which was in the mid 80s. You don't remember Egypt? Egyptian Lover, LA Dream Team.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Vinnie, pop and lock for me.
Yeah. So it was, to me, it was like the Boogaloo, Shabadoo, poppin', lockin', fast moving, 129 beats per minute rap. That, to me, that was the original West Coast, because that's before the guys with the attitude and
NWA and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and Snoop Doggy Dogg and all those guys hit the scene. I think it was like Egyptian Lover. It was like, to me, was the original West Coast, and the Members Only crew, which was the rap group from Stanford University. Members Only. Oh, they were good.
From the mean streets of Stanford University.
Let me tell you, they were the brightest rappers in the world. Like one of them, DJ Marksky, my good friend, a super talented musician, but like graduated Stanford with a graduate degree in like 3 years. The dude is like off the charts, bright. All of them were. One of them's an entertainment lawyer now down in LA. Great group of guys. But they started the longest continuous running, which is still running today, hip hop radio show in the nation. It's called The Drum. You can look it up. 89.1 KZSU.
Cool.
Boom.
I remember their big hit. It was like E=MC². That was their big song on that.
Hey, folks, we got more than 800 in the chat just on YouTube. We're close to 1,500 on all our platforms, Facebook, X. We're also on Twitch, and we're almost up to 40 followers on Twitch. Twitch is for gamers. We just started on Twitch. We just started 2 weeks ago. So it takes a while. But I think the Twitchers, those youngsters on Twitch, are really going to love us.
Son of a Twitch.
All right. So, Jonesy, East Coast, West Coast?
Again, I see East Coast, West Coast differently than most people. But I'll go East Coast because my favorites are groups like Run DMC, Public Enemy, Sugar Hill Gang. That's the kind of stuff that I love.
Biggie Smalls?
I can take it.
Queen Latifah?
Curtis Blow.
I want you to know that
these are the breaks.
Break it up, break it up, break it up.
The ultimate roller skating song. By the way, Selena is joining us.
Selena.
Adam and the Ants takes
Adam
you
and
back.
the Ants was not either East Coast or West Coast. But
No, but what I liked about it and the way I identified with Adam Ant
They were
was Adam Ant or Adam and the Ants.
Well, Adam Ant is his name, but the band was called Adam and the Ants.
I saw him 2 years ago. Outstanding.
Yeah, they're very, very good. I know him from the old days.
He had 4 drummers at one time. He has 2 drummers, and at one point, some of the other gentlemen grab some drum sets, and they do 4 drum sets at the same time.
So the reason I identify with Adam Ant was that famous line in his breakout hit, "Don't drink, don't smoke," because that was me. I don't drink, I don't smoke.
Goody good, goody 2 shoes.
I played that record to death when I was DJing in college.
Don't step on an ant. He's done nothing to you.
Yeah, that's right. Wake me up before you go. No, Adam Ant was not East Coast or West Coast, and I will go with my vote East Coast, of course. And in punk rock, I go with East Coast versus West Coast. Although I do appreciate West Coast punk rock more now than I did when I was younger, because there was a very, very big rivalry between the two groups. East Coast was always, to me, the grittier, the nittier, and the nastier.
I'll take East Coast and Britain. I'm not a fan of West Coast.
Well, I can't say I'm not a fan of West Coast, because I will tell you this: the Circle Jerks are incredible. Okay, Dead Kennedys are incredible. Okay,
sure, if you want to go see
Black Flag is incredible. I mean, those are phenomenal
East Coast
rock bands.
Okay, here's what DeCola DK says. Tupac was a genius, but Biggie had more rhythm.
Tupac started as a dancer in some of the Tommy Boy videos before he took off on his own.
That's right.
Was the first song on MTV Video Killed the Radio Star?
That is correct.
Yes,
it was by the Buggles, right?
Yeah.
That's remarkable. I would remember that. But actually, the Buggles are now on a tour again. By the way, Vin, maybe you're going to want to get to see them. I think they're opening up for Air Supply.
Oh, the Bungles?
Yeah, the Buggles are getting together again, and maybe they'll be with the
Boogaloo tour with Bananarama.
Well, I like Bananarama. I saw Bananarama with Fun Boy 3.
Mm-hmm. And who are the Walk Like the Egyptian people? Who's that?
That was
the Bangles.
Bangles.
And that has the woman who does this with her eyes, right? What's her face?
Susanna Hoffs.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you,
She just wrote a book. I just met her about 3 months ago.
The waitresses
very nice.
Kick ass on all of them. The waitresses' songs were fantastic.
Yeah, unfortunately, she's deceased.
Well, yeah, but it was a man behind it, a Hoboken gentleman.
Was behind what?
Behind the waitresses. He's the guy who wrote all the songs, Christmas Rapping and I Know What Boys Like.
Chrissy Hynde.
Hey, by the way, you guys now have a name. You are the Tangents.
I love it. Shoot up.
I want to be tangent.
Vinnie and the Tangents.
Oh, I like that move.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now, Jonesy, after this gets done, I'm going to copyright the name. We'll keep it. And then when he tries to use it, we'll sue the hell out of him. All right.
Talk about
Pop Music. Yeah, by M. That's correct. Mm-hmm. But that West Coast punk, though, Vin, I mean, Jonesy is phenomenal. I mean, it really is very good. X is phenomenal.
I just can't get into X. I saw them a couple of years ago, maybe 5 years ago, longer. Just they were never my thing.
Well, we are streaming on X. We're streaming on X.
On X, but I mean, John Doe and the band X is,
it's catching on. Vinnie and the Tangents. It's catching on.
Vinnie and the Tangents.
I like it.
Now,
you and I can go out on the road as Vinnie and the Tangents after we break up. Now, I know how much you love that. When bands
That's why
out the lead
we're going to copyright the name immediately after this broadcast.
Hey, Al, why don't you and I get a table at the next true crime convention and just tell all the chicks there that we know Vinnie?
And by the way, it's coming up. You guys should go. You want to go? We'll all meet there. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, where is it?
Nashville.
Oh, I'll go. When?
It's the last Friday in May and like the first Saturday. I'm going to do the show live from there Friday night.
Excellent.
In Nashville. It's going to be amazing. And I think it's going to be at the, that big hotel, it's where they do the new Grand Ole Opry, the Opryland or whatever it's called, the big hotel there. Oh, who did this song? Mexican radio.
Oh, that was Wall of Voodoo.
Wall of Voodoo.
Yep, Wall of Voodoo. That's a California punk rock band.
That's a good one.
Good one. Well, it's there we go, live from Nashville. We will be
live from Nashville. Now, Vin, maybe if I go down there, my band is in Memphis. Maybe we'll do a little reunion show up at Court TV.
And Memphis is about what, 2 hours from Nashville?
Yeah,
right?
2 hours from there. But I mean,
you did your show from Memphis, right? Didn't you do your show from?
Yeah, I broadcast from the Elvis Studios on Sirius XM many moons ago during the vigil, the August vigil for Elvis. Did an all-night radio show there.
Is that amazing or what? Was that amazing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was really cool. But it was really interesting though, because it was like this vigil where people show up for Elvis, and when they introduced me on the air, they said, this is your first time here, right? And I said, yeah, this is really great. It's my first time. And all the ladies there, came up to me afterwards and like, this is your first time. Like, they're very judgmental, because they had been there 17 times and I was only there for like my first.
All right. The last question, the name of your band, Al.
All right. The band, when I was in it, was called The Legals. We were a punk rock band. I was 13. My bandmates were 16. We played at CBGB's every Sunday. And now my band's name
was Diddy your producer? Did Diddy produce you when you were 13?
No, Diddy did not produce me because I think he was probably 13. No, he was probably 2 at the time. All right. So maybe that's not going to help too much. But then the situation was that I left my band and then they became Seven in the Sun. And then they are now called Whiskey Falls. They're a country band down in Memphis.
All right. Well, we have reached that point in the program, ladies and gentlemen. We did over an hour today, but it is opening day, and
play ball.
It's time to play some ball. Al, Jonesy, have a great Easter.
Buona Pasqua.
Hey, Vinny. I'm sorry, Al. Enjoy your chocolates today. I know you gave them up for Lent.
I got to wait till Sunday.
Oh, it's Sunday.
Yeah, it's Good Friday. You don't want to screw around on Good Friday. Remember what happened to Lincoln. Okay, let's remember that, folks. Don't go to a play today.
All right, say goodbye, Jonesy.
Goodbye, Jonesy.